If I was to ask you what is the most iconic moment in cinema history, there's only one right answer. It's the death of the beloved character Officer Greg in the movie The Last of the Grads. It's of course no surprise that I play this character, Officer Greg, in the movie because I'm the only one equipped with the skill set to truly embody such a powerful and moving character. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the death scene for you as well as his signature line, his catchphrase, "What do you want to do? Shut it down," which I'm sure you've heard many times by now, but maybe you didn't know it came from Officer Greg. So I'll play that for you real quick before talking a bit more about it. This fucking guy. What do you want to do? Shut it down? Fuck, I get emotional every time I see that scene, I'm sorry. Greg, up until this point, without spoilers, had cemented himself as the main character. And this is when the movie really took a bit of a turn and surprised the audience with Greg's death. Greg, God rest his soul, was such a beautiful character and really held the movie together, much like my previous role in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 where I played District 8 Helper. Officer Greg was really the driving force behind this whole film, everything that happens after his death, with the characters of course being strongly affected by it, lamenting the fact that he sacrificed himself for the greater good. No spoilers of course, but Officer Greg is really the entire spirit of the film. And I bet you're wondering how this was even achieved because it looks so real. Well, it's not CGI, it's not even practical effects. I just died. They just fucking straight up curb stomped me and I died. But luckily they had an on-scene necromancer to bring me back, so I was able to continue to exist. But yeah, I'm breaking the magician's code and revealing it all to you. I'm showing you how the sausage was made. The reason it looks so real is because it is. That's the secret formula to this Krabby Patty. That actually fucking happened and was filmed. Officer Greg truly did die that day. And god damn it did he go out in a blaze of glory. I also really think this scene showcases my range as an actor. In the Hunger Games I played a much more stoic, matter-of-fact character, kind of like a father figure to the whole franchise. Whereas here, I'm playing a much more laid-back, cocky kind of guy. Well, what do you want to do? Shut it down, big guy, huh? Well, what do you want to do? Shut it down? And then ultimately leading to a very gruesome and tragic death where you can really see the panic and fear start to take hold of him, begging for his life, pleading for mercy. But there was no mercy on that day. As I'm sure you and all of Hollywood at this point are aware of by now, I am one of the finest classically trained method actors in the business today. So, on set, I said, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna do it big, and we're gonna do it wet. So that's a real Bowie knife you see there, and that's actually my leg getting sliced. And then they said, Charlie, please, okay, that's far enough. This is more than enough realism to the film. Please, God, just stop, you maniac, you madman. I said, no, we're not done. This curb stomp? Fucking curb stomp me, pussy. They said, Charlie, no, don't, that's too far. I said, roll it. Let's go. And then bang! Officer Greg takes one for the team and cements himself as a cinema icon, a legend in film, who will no doubt be studied in college courses for years to come. Citizens Kane, more like Citizens Lame. Officer Greg is the ultimate character, and I put it all out there for this bad boy. I think Officer Greg is the finest character to ever grace the big screen, and probably always will be, until I take another role in another film. Since The Last of the Grads premiere last week, audience members have been shocked by Officer Greg's demise on screen. The New York Times gives it 2 thumbs way up. No one expected to be so emotionally invested in a character. Even if you're one of those guys that's like, oh, it's all fake, it's just a fucking movie, Officer Greg's not real, you're wrong and you're a fucking idiot. Take your diaper off and become a man. Watch Officer Greg and tell me you don't get emotionally attached to that guy. It's impossible. I became Officer Greg. I fully assimilated into the role, and what you see on screen isn't Charlie anymore. It's just Officer Greg. Officer Greg's using Charlie's skin as a fucking flesh puppet. And god damn it does the movie get improved because of my commitment to the role. I just wanted to share this with you because Audience members can't stop talking about the death of Officer Greg, citing it as one of the most powerful things they've ever seen in their life. Emotionally draining, but in a beautiful way, you know? Not shock for the sake of shock, but shock for the sake of making you reflect on your own life. Officer Greg was able to challenge the audience members to be introspective and really start to think about how they approach things in their day-to-day activities. I couldn't not talk about this role that I took here, of course. And that's about it. See ya. Most of you know me from my iconic role in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, where I portrayed a District 8 hospital helper and delivered a legendary performance that brought tears to the eyes of the entire cast during filming. Ask anyone on set what the most memorable moment of the Hunger Games franchise filming was, and they'll all tell you unanimously it was Charles White's delivery of his one line. A line so powerful they had to cut it from the final version of the film for fear that it would just toss Jennifer Lawrence into obscurity in my shadow, a decision which I am a little disappointed with, but do fully understand, because my performance in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 shook the very foundation of Hollywood. Now, why am I mentioning all of this? Well, when it comes to this level of acting expertise, there's a certain level of expectations that are thrust upon me. I am cursed by my success as an actor. And recently, with the new trailer of Free Guy coming out today, I have been inundated with questions saying, Charlie, why aren't you in Ryan Reynolds' new movie, Free Guy? Jacksepticeye's in it, as you know, Sean's in it. I'll play you a clip from his video today talking about it.
And for a long time, I know many of you thought the big Hollywood movie star on YouTube was Hunger Games sensation Moist Critical for his acclaimed role that he had in that movie. But I am here to take that crown. I'm snatching that trophy from his tiny man hands and holding it high above his head where he'll never be able to reach it. Why am I roasting Charlie so much? I absolutely love him.
Just to set the record straight, 5'6" is a perfectly acceptable height for a full-grown man, and regardless of how high Sean would hold the crown over my head, it's the fucking 21st century. We're not cavemen. We have the technology. I could get a step stool, climb up, and grab the crown right back. So regardless of altitude or our height difference, there's nowhere Sean could put that crown where I couldn't climb up and get it. Now, all that being said, the reason why I'm not in Free Guy is because I turned down the role. Yeah. I'm very particular when it comes to what projects I'll lend my acting expertise to, and when I was given the script for Free Guy, I honestly felt that it was just a bit beneath me. It was a little weak. I like to choose characters that I believe are very deep, well-rounded, three-dimensional, even four-dimensional characters that I can truly just assimilate into and just become one with, and form this incredible symbiotic relationship between my character and the real-world Charlie, and I blur the lines of reality and fiction. And when I received a copy of the script for this film, the role they wanted me in was Ryan Reynolds' sidekick. I was going to play the juxtaposition to Ryan Reynolds' character. Ryan Reynolds plays the free guy, I would play the not free guy. And it's nothing against Ryan. Ryan knows I love him. Ryan and I, we're like this. We're tight as fuck. I would suck the snake poison out of his asshole if I had to save his life, and I'd do it with a smile on my face and a semi-chub in my pants. But when it comes to acting, I am extremely picky with what projects I will tie my name to. And when I got this script, I just didn't feel like my acting expertise was being utilized to its utmost potential. I felt the character they wanted me in was a little bit weak and just a bit flat, but even still, I was absolutely flattered and open to it if the price was there. But unfortunately, they had already spent so much money on marketing and the production that they just weren't able to afford me. Now, negotiations between my team of agents and the Free Guys people, they raged on for months, but we just couldn't come to an agreement on an acceptable price for me to put my name on this project. And Ryan Reynolds called me up personally to try and talk me into it because Ryan and I, we're like brothers, except much fucking closer. And Ryan was like, look, Charlie, you're the only one that can play this role. I honestly don't even know if the movie gets made without you being on there. And I was like, Ryan, look, buddy, I understand it's going to be a devastating hit if I'm not in this film, but look, I mean, the price, it's just not there. You genuinely just can't afford me. And as hard as that was for him to hear, and I could hear tears on the other end of that line, he came to accept it. And then we hopped in a Discord video chat and we both butt-chugged some aviation gin together. And just overall, it was a little sad to have to turn down this role, but they couldn't meet my price for what I would require for this role. Now, if the script was just a bit stronger, where my character would have been more fleshed out over the course of the film, and maybe if they even consulted me about what I'd like to see from the character, then yeah, absolutely I would have hopped on board for less than my typical rate, but Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, so this is why I'm not in Free Guy. I hope this explains it all. And I do want to give a huge congratulations to Sean, because I'm sure he absolutely fucking crushed it in this movie. 100%, and I'm very happy for him. And you know what, Sean, for now, you can hold that crown as YouTuber Hollywood superstar sensation. I'm fine with that. When I land my role as a lead character in a next Marvel Cinematic Universe film, I'll take it back. But until then, you can absolutely hold on to it with those beautiful man hands of yours, and that's fine by me. That's it. See ya. Here's a little touching story for all of you from my past. I believe this was in my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and puberty was coming in full swing. My body was changing. I was getting hair on my nutsack, my butthole. My height really wasn't changing. I've pretty much been short my whole life. 5'6" has pretty much been my max level cap. Hopefully soon there'll be a new patch or a new expansion set to this godforsaken world where they can increase my height without having to obliterate my fucking legs in some back alley meth lab. But anyway, that's not really part of the story about me being short. Anyway, I was going through a really hard porn addiction phase. I was an absolute porn fiend, and one day before class, I wanted to see some vagina. I wanted to ejaculate. I wanted to just bust a nut real hard before class. But I couldn't. I watched a lot of porn for the better part of 25 minutes, which for me was a bender and a half. Usually I would have come 3 times during that period back then. But on this cursed day, my well was dried up and I had no more semen left to give my boxers. It's also worth noting as an important detail, during this time I never needed to jerk off. I never even knew how. I'd always just ejaculate after getting an erection, and sometimes I'd try different techniques like slapping it around or something to see if that helped the sensations or anything, but I never really jerked off. That's the point here. I could ejaculate using just the power of my intellect and euphoric gamer senses. I was able to just propel cum when I was stimulated visually or mentally. Alright, so now take that little nugget of wisdom and put it in your back pocket and save it for trivia night. It's going to play a major role in the plot a little further down the line in this story. So I wanted to stay home and just ejaculate because I thought something was wrong with me. I thought my dick stopped working or God banned me from ejaculating. I just thought something was awry, and I wanted to stay home, but my parents wouldn't let me because that day we had a school play to perform. It was Hamlet, and I was playing the role of fucking P. Diddy. Who's the character with the P in his name? Palpatine? Jesus, it's definitely not fucking Palpatine. I'm not playing Chancellor Palpatine or anything like that. It's like Polonius. I was playing Polonius, and he gets stabbed, and I guess that's like crucial to the story maybe. So I couldn't miss it. My parents didn't want me to miss it. They'd already planned on going to see it, so I couldn't skip school that day to ejaculate. Plus, that's not exactly a strong reason. I was very forward with why I didn't want to go to school. I was telling my parents, look, I just want to come. No sane parents can be like, you know what, that's a good excuse, Harold. Let's not send him to school today. So I get sent to school. I go through school per usual, and the play was supposed to take place right after school ended. So, yeah, I was able to push back the desire to ejaculate and all that for the entire school day and up till the play, and I was rehearsing my lines or my actions. And all of a sudden, all at once, it was like a light switch went off. It was like I was having a fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast in like the costume room, and all I was seeing was porn. Like my eyes just rolled into the back of my head, and all I was looking at was porn. Like I was Professor Xavier who just jacked into Cerebro, and I was seeing all of the porn that I'd ever seen in my life all at once. And I got hard as a fucking rock. And I knew that was dangerous because, like I said earlier, I never needed to like physically stimulate myself to ejaculate. So I'm sitting there in my Polonius costume on the verge of just blowing a hard load into it right before going on stage, and I'm panicking because we're about to perform this play and I have some shit I gotta do in the play. Like, I'd hate to be the guy that gets stabbed in the play, the curtain rolls back, and then all of a sudden I'm just laying on the floor with a boner and a wet spot in front of the whole school and all the school's parents. That'd be terrifying for all of them and myself. So I'm trying to brainstorm ideas. I didn't want to just go blow a load into the toilet because that thought never really occurred to me then. So my plan was to just start chugging water as quickly as I could and just try and pee out my erection. I thought that would work if I just kept urine flowing the best I could. I only had like T-minus 20 minutes till showtime, so I killed like 2 water bottles and the plan worked. I was able to like basically piss out all of my boner, and I was able to perform the play the best I could. But the lesson here is, no half measures. If you feel like you need to ejaculate, then fucking do it. Get it out of the way, because you never know when it might come back to haunt you. You might be in the middle of a school play, and then all of a sudden you're spitting out baby gravy into your costume and trying not to cry in front of the whole class. Just don't edge for like 9 hours. Just get it done, get it over with, and then be productive for the rest of the day. That's the lesson. I guess the lesson is quite literally jerk off if you need to. That's it. See ya.